Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Thursday, the 17th day of September. Today is National Professional House Cleaners Day. That's cool. Mm-hmm. National Apple Dumpling Day. National Monte Cristo Day. I like Monte Cristos. Ever have one of those?
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yeah, they're okay.
National Pawpaw Day. So, happy Pawpaw Day. And it's also Constitution Day and Citizenship Day.
Nice.
It's very, very cool. And it is a Thursday, so we have Dear John Letters. We'll be getting to that here a little bit later. And it is a letter from Husband Needs Help. And it's really kind of a deep, serious letter. I'm not a fan of the deep, serious letters, but this is a dude who needs some help. So we shared it on our Facebook page the other day, and if you happen to be somebody that has some really good advice, he could certainly use it. Again, that's at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. The new way is with a continuous glucose monitor. You simply apply a discreet, easy-to-use sensor on your body. If you test your blood sugar at least 4 times per day and inject insulin at least 3 times per day or use an insulin pump and have private insurance or Medicare, you might be eligible for a CGM with little or no cost to you. Call now and say goodbye to finger pricks.
800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. A new poll found that 70% of Americans do not feel safe in movie theaters yet. And this little thing is going to come in handy later during Big Screen, Little Screen, because we've got a movie company that won't even tell what their box office totals were. They're like, yeah, we're not gonna divulge that. So
well, there's no numbers to divulge. I mean, people just aren't going. They're not busy enough.
But the thing is, they had a movie that came out, and they're saying, we're not going to give the totals. It doesn't matter. We're not going to share that. So I thought that was interesting. Anyway, 70% don't feel safe in movie theaters. Do you?
I wouldn't hesitate going to a movie.
I'd go to a theater. I would absolutely. We should
wouldn't
do
hesitate.
that. Maybe we will. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. If you have a credit card, our friends at BetterCreditCards.com would like to make sure it's the best credit card for you. Take a few minutes to look at your current interest rate and then see what you get for points and perks. Then go to BetterCreditCards.com to see if they can help you find a better credit card. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you save money by getting a better credit card. Even if you don't have a credit card right now, you can check it out too at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com. This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. Recent footage from Wales shows a bride in a brawl on her wedding day, and she's wearing her dress and everything. Onlookers were watching the carnage. The fight appears to have broken out after the ceremony. Footage shows the new bride rolling around in the grass with another person. The bride still in her white gown and veil. On the ground nearby, another guest appears to be passed out, with reports saying she was, quote, drunk and asleep. Shocked guests watched the chaos, with one shouting, "Call the police." The clip went viral after being uploaded to the internet. Post revealed what happened. It was captioned, "Yes, that's the bride brawling in the meadow." South Wales police were called to the report of a disturbance, and, quote, inquiries are ongoing.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I have been to many a wedding. I used to be a wedding DJ. Mm-hmm. And I remember numerous times seeing brides and grooms, typically very young brides and grooms, drinking way too much. And I keep thinking, that's how you want to remember your wedding day? Or not remember it in some cases. So I think it's a bad idea. I've got a link to the story. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Now, Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. We mentioned this earlier. We mentioned when we did what was it called? Oh, when we did the surveys and studies and such. 70% of Americans don't feel safe in movie theaters. Well, that might lend a little credibility to this story. Warner Brothers is refusing to share box office totals from their $20 million thriller Tenet. Hit theaters last week, and over the weekend, usually you get box office totals and say, hey, we did this. And they're like, not going to share that. Doesn't matter. So I got a feeling
It really
that means,
kind of doesn't right now. I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah, I
not
know.
reflective of...
I think that's the thing. They're like, well, we
But
don't
it
want...
would matter in comparison to other films. If other films were released as well, it still would tell you
It's
which
beating
film
all
is
the
number
others.
one.
Yeah, I just thought it was really weird that they're going, we're not saying nothing. Nomad Land, Nomadland, Nomadland. I had not heard of that, but they won the Golden Lion Award at this year's Venice Film Festival. And they said, just to be clear, the Golden Lion Award is not associated with the grocery store chain, so it's a different thing. And New York Times movie critic Ben Brantley is stepping down. That would be a fun job, being a movie critic. Maybe we could be movie critics.
Maybe
Heidi.
not right now. There's
Probably
nothing
not.
to critique.
Yeah, make it even more fun. Thanks for listening to Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
If you take Viagra or Cialis, call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Call 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. Again, that's 800-214-7977.
Now your scoop of the day. It comes your way courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Oracle has won the rights to purchase TikTok's operations in the U.S. of A. So that's who is going to be buying that up. That's kind of interesting. So I hope that goes well. Louis Vuitton is in the news.
Louis Vuitton.
Oh, that's right. We were in Hollywood. Oh, what is that? Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. Was that in February?
Yes.
Yeah, February. And we went into the Louis Vuitton, and I asked the lady about, hey, you like working here at Louis Vuitton? She looked at me like I was nuts.
Yes, she did.
It was fun. Anyway, Louis Vuitton is selling a luxury coronavirus mask. How much do you suppose for a little thing to put on your face, Heidi?
Oh, I'm going to say $1,500.
Oh, it's a bargain then. It's only $1,000.
Ah, it's on sale.
Yeah. Travelers left behind nearly $1 million at U.S. airport security checkpoints last year. A TSA report said travelers lost $926,000 at 75 airports in the year that ended in September.
What?
Much of the lost money came from people emptying their pockets for security scans. Paper says the largest sums were lost in airports in New York, San Francisco, Miami, Las Vegas, and Dallas. So
How would they lose it? I mean, when you take the money out of your pocket, you're going to want it back.
you'd think so.
Or they
but
just wandered off.
some people wandered off and they're like, somebody left money here.
Wow.
So $926,000 that was
What happens to that
reported.
money?
I don't know. I have no idea. But that's the amount that was reported. So there might have been some that was left behind that, didn't even get reported. Hopefully not. Older adults who want to take a crack at the newspaper crossword or try a new recipe may want to do it first thing in the morning. According to a new study, they found adults between the ages of 60 and 82 were less distracted and better able to perform cognitive tasks between the hours of 8:30 in the morning and 10:30 in the morning than they are in the afternoon when their brain is still idling, or their brain starts idling, according to this. I think my brain starts idling the second I walk in here some days. I'm like,
Some days. I agree.
read this. And we got room for at least one more thing. We're going to get to this one here. Although you probably get a bigger kick out of attending a concert or spending a week in Italy, people still mostly opt for items over experiences because the value of an item is more easily quantifiable. Researchers surveyed people before and after making purchases. Beforehand, they rated life experiences as making them happier and a better use of the money than buying objects. But in a study, still tended to choose to buy objects over experiences. So they're saying a trip would make you happier, but this watch is going to do for now. They said despite picking items, mostly they still believe experiences would have been a better choice.
Agreed.
Do you agree experiences are better than items?
Experiences are way better than items, yes.
I think it's cool because I remember a post on Facebook where it showed somebody had a new watch. In one part of it, it says the way you spend X number of thousands of dollars, and then the other person had a whole bunch of wristbands from concerts they went to.
Right.
The way I spend the same amount.
Right.
And you look at those two, and you go, "This guy's got that watch forever, though." And you're like, "But I've got those memories forever." So, and there's no wrong answer. Some people would say, "I'd rather have the watch." There's others that would say, "Yeah, I'd like to see all these concerts that I'd like to go to." So, that's the good thing is each and every one of us get to make that decision for ourselves. This has been your Scoop of the Day on the John and Heidi Show. Nobody wants to buy car insurance. It's not a fun thing to think about, but it's something you need if you want to drive your car. So even if you don't want to buy insurance, you probably have to get it from someone. So why not buy it from InsuranceChicken.com? Okay, I'll admit, our website name is dumb. InsuranceChicken.com. Yeah, our marketing department is not that great. But our selection of insurance options is amazing. See if we can save you money each month on our dumb website, InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com. And it's time right now for Dear John Letters.
Dear John.
All right, we got another one of those really heavy letters, Heidi.
Okay.
But you know what? I decided, because we respond all the time, no matter what. But we don't always put them on the radio. But I wanted to use this as our Dear John letter because I don't think I'm going to have a good answer. I don't know that you're going to have a good answer. But right in the letter, they're kind of saying, maybe somebody that is a part of the program has been through this and they can give some advice. So this is not the silly, kind of crack a joke at it kind of letter that I would love to have. So if you've got one of those for next week, that would be great. But here we go. Dear John, my wife and I lost our oldest son in a car accident 2 years ago.
Oh.
He would have been a senior in high school this year. We've gone through the grief of this horrible situation in such different ways. I've gone out of my way to do more things with our other children. I'm more involved and have been devoting myself as fully to being as close to them as possible. My wife has become very distant. Just as she gets better, something will pop up that pulls her back under. His birthday, Christmas, back to school, and worst of all, the anniversary of his death. These are things that are kind of spaced out every few months, so just as she comes up for air from the last tidal wave, another one hits. I've tried to be there for her, but sometimes it feels like she wants to pull me under with her. I'm completely lost on this. We've tried counseling, but it's not helping. I'd like to find a way to be there for her and be there for our other children, but at this point, I'm the only one there for our daughter and our son at most times. My wife's mother is concerned, and so am I. I know this is not the kind of fun Dear John letter you'd like, but I could use some help on this. I've tried everything I can think of, so I'm hoping that someone else who has been through this could maybe reply on your Facebook page. I'd be very grateful. I'm afraid that this may eventually lead to the end of our marriage, but I'm even more concerned that may end to my wife taking her own life. Signed, husband needs help. So first of all, I got to say, very sorry to hear what you've been through. Can you imagine? That would just be...
No, I wouldn't.
We have friends who
be able to survive that.
Lost a child, and I know that is the most stressful thing you can possibly go through. And I remember when a friend of mine was going through that, I remember reading about a situation where people mourn in different ways. Mm-hmm. And I remember, this is again like 7 years ago, he was talking about the same exact thing that you're talking about, how he mourned one way and she mourned another way, and they're no longer together. They're divorced. So I'm glad that you're still together, and you need to be there for each other. You definitely need to be there for your kids as well. I wish I had some super simple answer that I could say, oh, just do this. But boy, I don't know that there is a super simple answer. And I hear what you're saying in there, that sometimes you feel like instead of you pulling her out, she's pulling you under. But if you can, keep doing that as long as you can, because, I know you lost a son. She did too, and you guys are mourning this in different ways, and it really does stink that, I understand. I just the other day had on Facebook, there was a notification that came up that was the anniversary of when my father passed away, and that's been 25 years ago now. But I still have, and it wasn't that Facebook was around 25 years ago, but something one of my siblings had posted when it was the 20th year, and then that popped up again as a memory. And, so there are things that are going to remind you all the time. And I think it's important that you do remember. Every single day you're going to remember. But, yeah, if there's a way, and I know you said you've tried counseling. Maybe you need a different counselor. Maybe that would help. I don't know. It doesn't say in here whether you're a person who goes to church, but maybe that's an answer as well. Do you have any advice at all? Or?
Well, it would be interesting to know how long ago.
3 years.
Oh, 3 years.
Yeah, it says, no, I'm sorry, 2 years ago. Car accident 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and I know that that's still very fresh for a lot of folks.
And your wife may be feeling like you don't care, like you've moved on, like you don't care. And that's extremely hard for her as well. And yeah, everybody grieves differently, but when the perception to her possibly would be that you're not grieving, that's probably making things a little worse as well.
Yeah. It's a tough one. Like I said, I really wish this was a happy, fun, we could kind of poke fun at and joke around like we try to, but there's nothing funny at all about this. But here's what I would love. I know we have some of the coolest people in the world that listen to this program. if you have been through a situation like this, or you know somebody that has, and you can help out, we always keep this anonymous, so it's not like you can send a private message directly to this person, but if you chime in on our Facebook page, we've got this posted. It's been there a few days. You can chime in. They'll be able to see it there. And if you'd rather send a personal message, reach out to me and I'll try to connect you. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. The new way is with a continuous glucose monitor. You simply apply a discreet, easy-to-use sensor on your body. If you test your blood sugar at least 4 times per day and inject insulin at least 3 times per day, or use an insulin pump and have private insurance or Medicare, you might be eligible for a CGM with little or no cost to you. Call now and say goodbye to finger pricks.
800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
There are 10 parts of the body that have only 3 letters. Now, this doesn't include any slang words, so I'm going to give you a couple. Eye, E-Y-E, ear, E-A-R. Can you tell me some more? There's 10, by the way. Body parts that have just 3 letters, like eye, E-Y-E,
toe.
Ear. Toe is one. Any others?
Lip.
Lip is another. Shout them out, ladies and gentlemen. Hip is another. How about this thing right here?
Arm.
Arm and rib and gum, like your gums. I think that doesn't really count.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Jaw is the other. So ear, lip, arm, leg, rib, hip, toe, gum, jaw. Those are the ones. And if you thought of one that's not on the list, then you're even smarter than the folks from Reader's Digest's tests and teasers. I've got a link to the list for those of you who want to play this little game in your office or wherever, at home, whatever. Hey, some people might be doing it now. You find the link
Living on the edge.
in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. If you have a credit card, our friends at bettercreditcards.com would like to make sure it's the best credit card for you. Take a few minutes to look at your current interest rate and then see what you get for points and perks. Then go to bettercreditcards.com to see if they can help you find a better credit card. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you save money by getting a better credit card. Even if you don't have a credit card right now, you can check it out too at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com. Time now for a news headline from somewhere in this world. Dateline China. Robbers in China entered a home at knife point and held a woman and her 1-year-old daughter hostage while her husband was ordered to go to a bank and make a withdrawal. While they were doing that, the robbers forced the wife to cook them dinner as well.
Oh, wow.
What? That just seems so bizarre to me. They're like, you go to the bank and get us some money, and your daughter and your wife are going to be just fine. And while he's going to get the money, they made her, cook us some dinner while we're waiting.
Wow.
So that is just so bizarre. That is news headline from somewhere in this world.
If you take Viagra or Cialis, call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Call 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. Again, that's 800-214-7977.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Idaho officials say they've seized 34 venomous snakes from the home of 25-year-old Boise man. Officers say that, see if the guy's name is in here. September 5th is when this happened. Charges are currently pending against the man. A city code does not allow him to own these venomous snakes except for native to North America snakes.
Okay,
So
I was wondering what the issue was, but okay, that makes sense.
Some of the snakes were native to Idaho. Many were from Southeast Asia, Africa, and Central and South America. Many prospective owners are required to have an import permit and a veterinary certificate of health to own these exotic pets, reptiles, amphibians. It says authorities say this suspect did not have any of that.
Right.
So I don't know why they were called there. There's 34 venomous snakes. I said 25. The guy was 25. His name is not in the story. That's weird. Usually they'll have the name. Either way, I've got a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for your moment of duh, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. A Kentucky driver was pulled over last week when they noticed something was a little off about his license plate. He thought he could get away with just drawing his own license plate. And he might have gotten away with it, but he didn't. And I'll explain why. First of all, he had no insurance. He was driving on a suspended license, and this all took place in northern Kentucky, about 100 miles east of Louisville. The driver's identity is not released in the story, but they did show a photo, and they also offered a pro tip. If you're going to draw a license plate, make sure you don't forget to draw the registration sticker. So the reason he was pulled over, he had drawn the license plate.
He must have been a really good artist.
And the license plate looked good, but it didn't have
Right.
it didn't have the tags that said that they were current. So that's what got him in trouble.
Interesting.
It is interesting. I think it's quite interesting. I've got a link to the story. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Nobody wants to buy car insurance. It's not a fun thing to think about, but it's something you need if you want to drive your car. So even if you don't want to buy insurance, you probably have to get it from someone. So why not buy it from InsuranceChicken.com? Okay, I'll admit, our website name is dumb. InsuranceChicken.com. Yeah, our marketing department is not that great. But our selection of insurance options is amazing. See if we can save you money each month on our dumb website, InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com. Time now for Fake News or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it fake news made up to trick you and amuse me? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Fake news or Florida. A Florida man was arrested for giving his girlfriend a, quote, a violent wet willy, end quote. Fake news or Florida?
I'll say Florida.
It is a true story. I remember when we read this story.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. But I remember thinking, first of all, why would you even do that?
Yeah.
Especially to the point where the police need to be involved.
Right.
It makes no sense to me.
Those are nasty anyway.
It is.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Have you ever had someone do that to you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just
disgusting.
For those of you that don't know what a wet willy is.
Not for years. I mean, I was a child last time, but it was disgusting.
wasn't like last week.
No, it wasn't like in the grocery store.
A wet willy is when you lick your finger and stick it in someone's ear.
Yuck.
For those of you that didn't know what
So
that is.
gross.
And if you grew up with a large family like I did, you've probably been involved in those. Thanks for listening to Fake News or Florida.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Here's a headline. ITBP troop rescue injured woman in remote village and carry her 15 hours to safety. Yeah. This is the Indo-Tibetan Border Police. They carried an injured woman 15 hours during a rescue from a remote village in India. Can you even imagine that?
Wow.
The woman fell from a hillside, broke her legs, but she could not be rescued for 2 days as a chopper could not land in the area.
Wow.
As her condition worsened, that's when they were contacting these folks, and dozens of troops trekked through the mountainous region to the small village, and it says it's been badly affected by monsoons. 25 troops, they took turns carrying this woman on a stretcher for 15 hours through the flooded area. The landslide-prone area was slippery slopes for about 40 kilometers. It says up the nearest road head, the woman was further evacuated to a hospital and is now in stable condition. But can you even imagine being carried through this muddy, yucky area for
not at
15
all.
hours?
That's insane.
Yeah, it is insane. But boy, it's a good thing we got folks out there that are doing that kind of thing because she's safe because of that. So.
Right.
Just amazing. By the way, I would like to remind you, if you happen to have a good answer for our Dear John letter that we had earlier in the program, you can chime in on our Facebook page. That's also where you can submit your own, maybe a more lighthearted Dear John letter for next week. Again, Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And I'd love to get some answers for the gentleman that reached out. Again, all of that on our Facebook page. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.